G'day, welcome to Video Confidence Coach Cast, and today we're going to discuss professionalism in your networking. That may seem like an obvious question, Zoe. Well, not even a question, more of a statement. But I'm going to tell you now, there are so many people who run very large companies who aren't professional. And we're going to follow a story that I had the interesting time to witness late last year, not necessarily in your networking opportunities, but this story should hopefully enlighten you on how other people may view some of your behaviours. Welcome to the Video Confidence Coach Cast with me, your host, Zoe, the Video Confidence Coach. I help with personal branding, growing it through the power of video for women and non-binary folk throughout Australia. I need to work on my elevator pitch a bit. So today I wanted to delve into a topic that I very much enjoy. That is not necessarily a topic that I host. As for example, I run, maybe some events once or twice a year regarding the networking topic. It's a topic that I hold very dear to my heart because I network realistically once a week on average. And previous to the start of the pandemic, I did this realistically about 2 to 3 times a week. I do not recommend that. You burn out rather quick. But I've networked a lot in my business career so far, and I intend to do that throughout the rest of my business career. Because networking is very important. As the saying goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And especially in localized or regional communities, kind of like Geelong. I say kind of like because we're not very regional, but we still have that mentality. It's always good to network, and it's always the best thing to network with other people, especially like-minded people. I always found myself growing up that I was able to go into a networking event with a lot of confidence and a lot of stress off my shoulders because I knew we were here to talk about business, to talk about your business, to talk about my business, and all the things that come in clutch with that. When attending family events, I didn't exactly know what to talk about because life, I guess. But at a networking event, we can talk about business, and I can definitely do that. Got a lot of practice with it. So I wanted to start off with a story today about a grumpy comedian from Melbourne. And this may seem a bit strange, Zoe, but bear with me. So last year, I attended a local comedy festival, the Geelong Comedy Festival. It was its first year running, and I attended an event late on a Saturday night with a partner of mine. And we were enjoying this, I think not a burlesque show per se, but it was a show of many different acts. And the event was already running 40 minutes past due, which was a bit of a worry, but it was also a case of like, showbiz, stuff happens, it's okay, we're here for a laugh, we're here to be entertained. And we were instructed at the start of the event that, hey, just so you know, there has been some major train delays from Melbourne today. We're doing our best to get all the acts that we're going to come and perform tonight. Most of them are from Melbourne and they're going to come as they trickle down, but there may be an opportunity that we may not have everyone that we want on board. Please stick with us as we continue the show on regardless. The show must go on and all that. And of course, this small crowd that I was in was like, yeah, sure, like, we're here to be entertained. We understand that things happen. And yeah, we totally get it. So we're there, again, being supportive as we can to win during this event. So we saw great magical acts, great burlesque acts, some really fun, enjoyable opportunities of just laughter and, really had a good night, essentially. And there was like, fire twirling without the fire because it was indoors. So it was like baton twirling. And it was really enjoyable to watch and to see. The last comedian, however, was interesting. So this gentleman came on, rocked on, like there was a lot of drum rolls and a lot of excitement. And he started talking. And his type of comedy is not exactly my cup of tea. He was very much a grumbly, angry comedian, which for some people, sure, works for them. Go ahead. It wasn't exactly my cup of tea. So I'm like, okay, hopefully this 10 minutes moves quickly. That's fine. He proceeded to talk. So he had a 10-minute set. So I think he had a 5-minute set, but it ended up being 10 minutes. And he spent the entire time talking about the Melbourne trains. And it was like, okay, that's unfortunate for you, mate, but understanding that, like, we're in Geelong and like you've come down to us, and is this your material, like, to talk about the, state of the public transport sector that we all use in some capacity? And okay. And then he quickly turned from talking about the trains for about 3 to 4 minutes to the audience. He mentioned a few things about, different suburbs around Geelong, which was, haha, kind of funny. There was some, stereotypes around the type of people in Geelong. Sure, haha, sure, why not, mate? It's fine. But then he started getting angry and aggressive, more angry and aggressive than he already was when he first came into the set that he had. And he started making some pretty offensive comments, and it's like, okay, sure, if that's what you do, fine, cool. Again, now, of course, there was a fair few people in the audience who just started booing and hissing, because it's like, are you supposed to be the villain in this scenario where you're entertaining us? Hopefully, supposedly. And then he started getting quite agitated and quite angry at the audience for having a reaction that wasn't just laughter. And then proceeded to point people out and comment on their attire. And again, not in a positive way, but a very aggressive way. And started blaming the audience on his poor performance, about how hangry he was, how flustered he was, and blaming us for that. And we're all sitting here being like, nah, mate, you came onto the stage like this. This was all you, mate. And during the end of that, during the end of his set, he then pointed to me at the back. And at the time, I was wearing a mask because even though I was vaccinated, I was still on and off fairly sick due to long COVID and a couple of other situations. And I was instructed for a very long time to continue wearing a mask. I do not wear a mask anymore because I am just honestly sick and tired, and it just impacts what I need to do. There's a whole other story about that. But ultimately, I was there with a mask in this room. And me and about 3 other people, I think, were wearing masks. He pointed at me and commented about the mask. And because this was around Halloween time and there were some people having Halloween parties, I thought, oh, the bar at the back, there must be people wearing Halloween masks at the bar at the back of the venue. Okay, I will turn around and have a look. And then he proceeded to double down, saying, I thought you were a man. Okay, haha, is that funny? So again, the whole diatribe that I'm making of this, and of course, by the end of it, the atmosphere in the room became incredibly tense, incredibly agitated. A couple of people even left at that point. And because me and my partner knew that the show wasn't going to be over yet, we were like, okay, he's going to stop eventually, right? All in all, this was a fairly negative experience, and it was quite overwhelming. And despite the event that the same festival, I attended a really inspiring, story about a trans individual and the comedy around that. And it was so nice to hear their story. And this, again, from the same festival, and then attending this event like 2 or 3 days later and getting this. So now, of course, this entire story, as you can probably imagine, I left that event quite overwhelmed, but also just quite frustrated of, why did I invest my time into this? Why did I invest my money into this? And, so there were some of the acts that were really good, but then that was an incredibly negative and also, terrifying experience. I'm in a room full of strangers, and him the one, again, man with the microphone, the one being silenced, is the one that has the floor. Interesting. The reason that I bring that up and how this story even connects with networking, Zoe, and I apologize if I've brought your mood down a tad. I'm going to tell you now that this type of mentality I have seen so often at networking events, it is ridiculous. I have seen this type of mentality of, I am angry, therefore I'm going to make you angry, so much in professional networking spaces. And not just at networking events, be them in person or virtual, but at coffee meetups, at connections where you're supposed to be there to talk about your business, about your clients, about referrals you can possibly give each other. And you come in with the negativity of 1,000 suns. For what benefit? You are there to serve. You are there at this networking event, at this one-on-one, what have you. You are there to serve. And you can't do that if you are just angry, if you are just aggressive, if you are blaming everyone around you for a problem that you are facing. Now, of course, at networking events, especially with people that you know very well, it is okay to bitch and moan. It is okay to gossip a bit. That is okay. You're there with people that you know. But don't do that with new people. Don't do that with people that you haven't met before and don't entirely know their vibe. It's like, going on a first date with someone. I would not expect a first date with someone to go through someone's life traumas. Sure, you can talk about their past, about things that they've experienced. Sure, that's normal human interaction. But when you start using that as the opportunity to vent about everything in your life with someone you've only just met, that can be a bit worrisome. Now, of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, as there always are. But at networking events, you are there to serve the people around you. You are there to get referrals of other business owners. And you are there to learn and grow yourself and your community and your network. That is what you are there for. You are not there to be angry and aggressive. And I say that to the white men in the room. When it comes to networking, leaving your personal problems at the door and doing your best to network with focus and intention, or representing your business positively, should be your goal at networking events. And as I said, there is always exceptions to the rule. But do your best to grow your community in a positive way. Yes, things may not be positive right here in this moment, but you're attending a networking event. So hopefully you're doing it with intention and not just there because you have to. Or for example, if something has happened to you or to your family or to your staff or to your business at all, maybe attending a networking event shouldn't be high on your priority list. Maybe focusing on what you need to focus on may be the priority. And that is okay. If you need to do that, sure. But do not blame other people in the room for your business not succeeding the way you want it to. And that's okay. Not everything is going to be your fault, but it's not the fault of the people in the room who have come there to network with you. Apologies if that sounds a little bit diggy at you. I'm not saying that to you, dear listener or dear watcher. I'm not saying that directly to you. I'm just saying that to, if you ever come across people like this in your business journey, in your networking journey, there are going to be people like this. They don't leave their troubles at the doors and they're just going to be angry and aggressive or bring down the entire mood of a conversation. And that's okay. You know to avoid those people in future. You know to be like, okay, I'm not going to get in a conversation with you. For example, there was one person who I am actually good connections with now. We regularly speak on a regular basis. But when I first met them, they were not doing well in their personal life. And every conversation they had with me would just bring down the mood so drastically and so aggressively. To the point where it was like the second or third time that we talked, and they would see me at an event and go straight for me. And of course, I would be like, hey, welcoming, glad to chat, happy to chat with you. I'm going to go this way now. But of course, they would still want my attention and still want to talk about things. And I had to say point blank to them, mate, this is a business event. Let's talk business. And I pointed to a couple of other people in the room saying, hey, your reputation has got out rather quickly about being negative, about being, not being positive. If it's not a good space for you to network right now, do not network. And of course, again, I'm saying this to a full-grown man in front of me at a busy networking event. And he got a bit dejected. He took it a bit to heart. He walked out to his car. And honestly, I didn't expect him to see him again. And then he came back about 10, 20 minutes later during the speeches or presentation part of the event. And he apologized to me. He said sorry and endeavored to do better. And he did. His actions actually reflected what he said he would do. And now we are good business associates. I refer to him, he refers to me. Like, we're on good terms now. Yes, there was a little bit of a hard conversation that we had to have about not necessarily energy levels or being positive or toxic positivity. It was more just your personal life is your personal life. You're here to discuss business and network with other business individuals. Do that. So one thing that I have as a nice rule of thumb for a lot of the events that I happen, and if you are listening to the podcast, there was a podcast that we ran that may come out soon or has already come out called Lessons Learned from Places You Are Not Supposed to Be. And I discussed about my rule of thumb when it comes to training events, that if it's halfway through and I haven't gotten anything out of it, then this isn't for me and I'm going to head out, or I'm going to make my excuses and leave. Or just, if it's a virtual event, just peace out. And that is okay. Your time is precious, and that is okay. And that's the same with networking events. That, for example, halfway through the networking event, if you have not reached, I don't want to say a goal, but if you haven't spoken to anyone who could actively be a lead, or anyone that you're going to follow up with halfway through the event, maybe this event is not for you. Maybe if you're not enjoying yourself, if you're finding that you're being left out of conversations, or if it's getting to the point where, okay, halfway through the event, the people that I've spoken to are, not the right people for me, and there's no one in this room that I could realistically, communicate with, okay, then I'm just going to leave. I'm going to say my goodbyes and head out. And then not to attend that networking group or event or type of event in the future. Now, of course, do not, completely cast off, for example, if you had a bad experience during networking, do not cast off networking entirely, because there is so many businesses, so many, times in my business where I haven't had a good networking experience. So I just gave it a break for a week, for a month, however long time I needed. And then I got back on the horse and I got 3 clients off the bat. And of course, that's not necessarily going to happen for you, because of course I can't replicate my own experiences with you. But networking is very important. Building your network as a business owner is so important, to be able to rely on other professionals inside your space, outside your space, to be able to get things done, to be able to, for example, I have so many clients coming to me being like, hey, Zoe, I need this. And I go, cool, go to my little online Rolodex. Cool, this is the person for you. Here is their contact details. Boom, done. This is business, baby. So when you are as a networking professional, or as a professional as a business owner, or building your personal brand, do your best to be flexible and to be calm. And do your best to put them forward, to put, the person that you're talking to forward, doing your best to listen to them, and, help in any way that you can. Serve them like you would a client, because the people that you serve at these networking events are going to be the ones to give you leads and referrals and potentially and be your clients in the future. I know that's something that I have definitely run into a lot. I want to say a good 50% of my clients at the moment are people that I networked with in the past. I helped them, I served them, I provided them some useful next steps, whatever we did at the conversations or networking events that we had, and then boom, done. 2-3 years later, 5 years later, I think 7 years later in one case, they become my clients, and they become my consistent retainer clients as well, because I am what I say. I put my best foot forward, and my personal brand is fairly consistent when it comes to networking events and doing my best to help the people that I am there to network with. And having that confidence and professionalism is key when you're trying to be a thought leader in your industry. If you are trying to build your personal brand, if you are trying to be the person who knows what you're talking about in your particular niche or, value sector, or whatever you're trying to do with the work that you're trying to do in your business or your personal brand, show up, be there, help people who are in front of you, and network as efficiently as you can by helping the people in front of you. So, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Video Confidence Coach Cast. I understand that it was probably a bit of a rambly one, but I thank you all the same. Hopefully, you will not be like an angry white male comedian, and you can do your best to feel better about the situation. If you are interested in networking, or if you're interested in attending any of my trainings or receiving any mentorship regarding networking in a small town, feel free to reach out to me at vcc.training, where you could find out all my updates and information about mentoring, because that's one of the services I provide. Or we can just book a 15-minute chat and have a good chat about networking and next things that we can do to better work ourselves in Geelong, or in the small regional town that you are located in. I look forward to hearing more from you. Bye.